Is this happening to you? Then you're in the right place for video game training. My name is Azzavhar or Azza. Now let's get into the video. What we're going to do is go in and do the full fight first of all, and then we'll do a breakdown of all of her moves, and then I'll show you the gear and equipment that we used for the fight. Okay, so first of all we'll pop an Exalted Flesh, which increases our physical attack. If you do have some Starlight Shards, you can also use those to gradually restore your FP. Don't worry if you don't have the Starlight Shards though. And what we'll do first of all is use Hoarfrost Stomp, which usually baits her into coming to us. So she kind of like jumps between passive mode and aggressive mode. She's currently in aggressive mode. We can pop that. Usually it baits her into using that kick, which we can actually run backwards and then run forwards and punish it. So she's in passive mode at the minute because she's kind of like strafing around. So you want to be like this medium distance and then use Hoarfrost Stomp if that is the case. She's gone for a sword attack there instead of the kick. Try another stomp, there's the kick, run backwards, run round and punish. So once her health gets a little bit lower like this, just be careful because it means she can start using the flurry attack. So you want to have some distance behind you so you can run away from the flurry. Here it is, good timing, so run backwards. And then you want to roll, lock off, and then roll away from the flurries. And you should completely avoid it, like so. So we'll keep popping the Hoarfrost Stomp to bait her to us. Hopefully she does the kick. Just be aware of the arena behind you. You want to have some space behind you ideally, just in case of the flurry. Just going for the sword attack. Sword again, so just roll backwards to avoid these. That's the kick. That's the sparks combo. Ideally for that one we want to be rolling forwards and right actually for the sparks. There comes the kick, roll from backwards and you can punish it. Sometimes she'll try and get herself some space by doing that. You can roll backwards for that one and you can punish if you land at her feet. You punish that one as well. There's the sparks, forward and right and then back. We're a little bit late there on the backwards roll, but forwards and right and then back for the sparks. We just need to be aware of our health and distance because if she does flurry we are in a bit of a pickle. There's the sparks. Sometimes you can roll backwards for the sparks if you are already quite far back. So I'm going to pop a heal here. I'm going to rebuff up with Exalted Flesh. Or for a stomp. There's the flurry. We are a bit too close there, so I'm going to opt for shield instead. Like so. So depending on your distance, you can go for shield or run away. Depends on where you are. You can actually get in some attacks before she pulls that one off. Roll backwards and punish. Okay, so that's phase 1. Now on to phase 2. So lock off, run forwards, underneath her, and then over here we're going to top up on the bits and bobs. Flask. I would go for Pickled Turtle Neck in this phase for stamina as opposed to attack. A lot of the attacks are quite similar. You can use the same kind of strategy. She just has some extra bits and bobs in this phase. You can still bait the kick. Just be careful of the arena behind us because we want to be able to run, roll through. Sometimes she'll do like an extra attack like that now in phase 2, the Scarlet Rot Explosion. Just need to be careful in case we get a flurry. She's got a heal punish, which is that one there, so sometimes you just have to like tank that if you're... And once again she's going to do it again. Just going to back up a little bit so we can pop a heal. There we go. That's the heal punish again. So just be careful of that one. If you can get behind her for that, you can punish. Watch out for the kick. Use the stomp. She might kick. If she does, that's good. We can always punish that kick by doing that kind of like little run around thing. Roll through. There's the sparks. Roll through. You just walk backwards a little bit for the kick as well. For this one, you ideally want to run very far away. Technically speaking, if you can run really far away, you can avoid all, if not, well, most, if not all of the attacks on that. That's a good time to heal up when she's doing that one there. Ideally, we get the kick, so we can punish it. This one, you want to ideally run through her, underneath her. Just gonna pop some bits and bobs there. You can also throw freezing pots. So when she's at the end of that, you can sometimes get some freezing pots in. If you do get a proc on a freezing pot, then there's the flurry. We're way too close, so we're gonna lock on and go for the shield option instead. Sparks, and again. Sparks. We rolled the wrong way there for the sparks, but that's okay. It's not the end of the world if you do run the wrong way for the sparks. That's the grab. So forward and right and then back for sparks, like that. Once again, run underneath and away. This is a great time to use all your bits and bobs, so you use whatever you got to. And once again, if you can get some freezing pots in, sometimes if they proc, they do decent damage like that. Roll through, and punish. Watch out for the kick, always knocks you down. If she's kind of idling or in passive mode, you can bait her towards you by using the Hoarfrost Stomp, so feel free to use that to your advantage. Once again, just going to run straight through and roll again. Try some freezing pots. Okay, so we are kind of out of most things. You can also punish this if you can get up and kind of like do a few attacks at the end of it, like so. And that is the fight. Next, let's break down the moves. So baiting her kick attack and then punishing it is basically using Hoarfrost Stomp, looking out to see if she's going to use the kick, and then you want to back up a little bit or run backwards a little bit and then run forwards and attack. If it works, you should be able to punish. You can still punish her kick without using the Hoarfrost Stomp. It's just a lot of the time by using the stomp, it does bait her into doing the kick, allowing us to punish. Next, we'll take a look at the Sparks combo. You've got Sparks combo 1 and Sparks combo 2. To avoid Sparks combo 1, you want to roll forwards and right, and then roll immediately backwards. To avoid Sparks combo 2, you still want to roll forwards and right the first time, and then wait a little bit, then roll backwards. The sound of the blade sparks is slightly different between version 1 and version 2. Version 1 is a quicker sparks sound, and version 2 is a slower sound. This is specifically the spark sound that is after the initial 3 swipes of the combo. I'll play an example here so you can hear the difference. After she finishes the Sparks combo 2, she usually does stay still for about a second or two, allowing you to heal or punish. With the grab attack, you'll kind of see her ready her hand in front of her, and then she'll pull her hand behind her, signaling that the grab attack is on its way. With this grab attack, you kind of have to judge the distance between you and Malenia, and then time your roll accordingly. She's got a jump up and stab attack. She usually uses this one as a heal punish, although it's not always used as a heal punish, and this move has got very accurate tracking. If you can angle your roll so that when you finish your roll you end up at the feet of Malenia, you can then use that chance to get in some extra attacks. Or if you need to heal up, you could roll through her towards the direction that the attack is coming from, which should then buy you a second or two to pop a flask. You can actually throw a freeze pot to interrupt Malenia's flurry attack and completely stop her from doing it. However, you do need to be insanely quick at throwing this freeze pot as soon as you see the animation start up. You probably get less than a second to throw it, and a lot of the time I usually find that I'm a touch late and I end up getting killed by the flurry. So I wouldn't recommend that one as a massively consistent strategy, but feel free to give it a go and see if it works for you. Next, we'll take a look at evading the flurry completely. To make this work, you have to have a bit of distance between you and Malenia already as the flurry starts, and then as soon as you do see the flurry start, you want to be sprinting backwards as fast as you can do. The first flurry should miss completely, and then for the second flurry, roll backwards through it and it should avoid that second flurry. It's worth mentioning that I do tend to stay locked on for the first flurry and then the second flurry. After we've rolled through the second flurry, I then tend to lock off and roll forward, and then keep on rolling away in the opposite direction to where Malenia is. Sometimes Malenia will kind of pop in a backwards and left direction, and sometimes she will pop in a backwards and right direction. So just try to keep an eye on the direction that she has popped over to, and then roll in the opposite direction to that. This one does take a lot of practice to get it right, but if you give it some time, you'll get it. If you find that you're really close to Malenia as she starts up the flurry, I would highly recommend going for a shield and blocking the attack rather than trying to avoid it. We use a great shield that has Barricade Shield Ashes of War, which gives us a high level of defense. Unfortunately, if you do have to block the flurry, it will mean that she restores her HP, but it's better for us to be alive and still in the fight and her restore her HP than us get absolutely obliterated and taken out of the fight. If you are tanking this flurry in phase 2, be very aware of the Scarlet Rot build-up. Definitely bring those preserving boluses. After the Scarlet Rot explosion, if you time it right, you can run in and punish quite a bit. You just got to be careful not to run in too early, or you will take some damage and you will get some Scarlet Rot buildup. It's kind of when the Scarlet Rot animation is kind of wilting out and fading out is the right time to run in. And with the Phantom Spirits attack, what I tend to do is if I'm really close to Malenia when this attack is starting up, I'll just choose to use the shield and put up Barricade Shield if we have enough FP to use it. Because our shield is a big tanky shield and it also has 100% physical damage negation, we will literally take no damage whatsoever by tanking all of these hits. And when the phantoms do hit us, it doesn't actually restore her HP. But if Malenia does hit us, then it does restore her HP. If you already have quite a lot of distance between you and Malenia as this attack starts up, then you can actually just choose to run away and keep on running, and you should avoid every single attack. If there's not quite enough distance to run away, then you might get clipped by 1 or 2 attacks. Technically speaking, you could roll through every single one of these Phantom Spirit attacks. However, the timing on the rolls is quite tricky. I personally tend to find that I end up getting hit by at least 1 or 2. That's why I usually opt for the shield or just run really far away. But with some time and practice, maybe rolling through these attacks might work best for you. I'll just show you where this boss is located on the map. So she is just here. Let's take a look at the equipment and gear that we're using for this fight. So we have a cold scimitar and we have a bloody scimitar. The cold scimitar has the Ashes of War called Hoarfrost Stomp, which we do use quite a lot in this fight. You can get Hoarfrost Stomp from here. You'll have to kill one of those invisible scarabs to get it. This cold scimitar will cause a buildup of frostbite, which will allow us to do some extra damage, and the bloody scimitar will cause a buildup of blood loss, which will also allow us to do some extra damage. We're using the Golden Beast Crest Shield, which has the Barricade Shield Ashes of War applied to it, and Barricade Shield greatly increases our block ability. We have the Crucible Knight's armor set. For the talismans, we've got the Dragon Crest Great Shield Talisman, which enormously boosts our physical damage negation. This comes in insanely useful. You can pick up the Dragon Crest Great Shield Talisman quite close to the drainage channel site of grace. You'll have to exit out of the room near the site of grace and then follow a path along some branches until you'll find a hole in a roof. Drop down the hole in the roof and you'll find the talisman at the back in a chest. We've got the Wing Sword Insignia, which raises our attack power if we keep getting our attacks in quite quickly. The Green Turtle Talisman, which raises stamina recovery speed, and we're also using the Bull Goat's Talisman, which raises our poise. The only reason that I use that one is sometimes if we are attacking Malenia and Malenia is attacking us at the same time and we both strike each other, it stops us from getting knocked back and it stops us from staggering, so we can continue to get in our attack. And I just find that that helps the fight flow a little bit smoother. And you can get the Bull Goat Talisman from a cave in Caelid. You'll find it located on the map just here. If you do have it, you could also choose to use the Lord of Blood's Talisman, which raises your attack power by 20% for 20 seconds when blood loss happens in the area. We've got 12 of the red flasks and 2 of the blue. In the Flask of Wondrous Physic, we've got the Crimson Burst Crystal Tear, which steadily restores our HP, and the Green Burst Crystal Tear, which temporarily boosts stamina recovery speed. We've got Exalted Flesh, which temporarily boosts our physical attack, Pickled Turtle Neck, which temporarily boosts our stamina recovery speed, Preserving Boluses, which takes away the Scarlet Rot buildup and cures Scarlet Rot if you are afflicted with it, and we may also use some Freezing Pots from time to time. There's loads more video game tutorials, boss guides and walkthroughs on my channel. Some videos have just popped up right now, feel free to check them out and give them a click. I've covered loads of games such as Elden Ring, Sekiro, Bloodborne, Dark Souls 3, Nioh 2, Ninja Gaiden and loads more. Hopefully you enjoyed this video, thank you very much for watching and I'll see you in the next one.